Guys, you probably think the drama surrounding Mitch Marner had finally been left behind. But wait, Leafs Nation, can you believe that at the very same moment he reignites all the controversy about ego and lack of media awareness, another massive bomb drops involving Steven Stamkos and a possible return home that is shaking the entire NHL? Marner praises himself in an official league video, putting the spotlight on himself when no one else did, and meanwhile, Stamkos becomes the hottest name on the market for the exact team that chose to move on from Marner. And that changes everything about the narrative, the future, and the identity of the Maple Leafs. Hello, Leafs Nation. Welcome to Boys in Blue News, your place for the latest updates on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm your die-hard fan who bleeds blue and white, and what I am about to break down will completely shift the conversation about the present and the future of this franchise. Stay tuned, because the combination of these two stories reveals more about the true state of the Leafs than any press conference, any lineup projection, or any advanced statistic ever could. Hit the like button, leave your hottest take in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the most passionate coverage in Leafs Nation. Now, let's dig deep, because this first story reopened an old wound and revealed that, in the end, the problem was never just Toronto. Everyone remembers how, for years, much of the discussion around Mitch Marner revolved around the constant friction with the media, the way he reacted to simple questions, the answers that always seemed to create unnecessary tension in the locker room. And for a long time, many people repeated the same argument. It's Toronto. It's the market. It's the pressure. In another city, he'd be different. Well, now he's far from the noise, far from the media, far from the weight he always claimed was a reason for his missteps. And he just proved the exact opposite. There are no tabloids pressuring him, no reporters twisting words, no fans waiting outside the rink. Even so, he falls into the same pattern that defined his time with the Leafs. And let me paint the picture precisely. The NHL sits players in front of the camera in a light, simple, almost recreational segment, asking which teammate has the highest hockey IQ. Nothing controversial, nothing sensitive, nothing requiring caution. The answers are predictable. Praise, respect, recognition. The kind of gesture that strengthens a locker room and shows a bit of camaraderie between players. Until Marner shows up. And exactly as happened so many times during his time in Toronto, he simply can't help himself. Instead of using that moment to highlight someone on the team, to strengthen the image of the group, to show maturity, he puts himself at the center of the conversation, praises himself, redirects the narrative toward himself, creates exactly the kind of situation everyone in Toronto knew would happen sooner or later. And what came next, no one expected. That moment, which should have been just another lighthearted league clip, ends up becoming a crystal clear reminder of what irritated so many people in Leafs Nation. This is the kind of behavior that made fans question whether Marner truly understood what it means to wear the Leaf on your chest, to understand the moment, measure your words, strengthen the team, not just yourself. And now, without pressure, without headlines, without reporters twisting sentences, he repeats the same pattern. And that's what makes the situation even more meaningful. If he acts the same far from Toronto, then maybe Toronto was never the problem. For many in the front office, this video reinforces what was already clear. Elite talent does not compensate for the inability to read the moment, strengthen the group, and show leadership when the team needs it most. It doesn't matter how many brilliant assists he makes, how many numbers he puts on the board. There's a layer of maturity, responsibility, and presence that weighs just as much as talent. That's why, even in seasons of high production, Marner was never the untouchable player parts of the media insisted on presenting him as. Optimistic scenario. He finds a market that accepts his personality and doesn't require from him an emotional maturity he never demonstrated. A place where his comments go unnoticed and the focus stays strictly on the ice. Cautious scenario. Other GMs start to realize that the complete package has more nuance than they imagined, and that off-ice behavior may impact things more than they assumed. Front office view. Toronto chose to move on, and the more time passes, the more that decision seems right, not just because of performance, but because of the clarity regarding the culture the team is trying to build. Hit the like button if you think this video says far more than Marner realizes. Leafs Nation, get ready, because now we're diving into a discussion that can truly reshape the lineup, the locker room, and the future this season. Steven Stamkos might really be coming home. This isn't just another January rumor. It's a conversation that's gaining momentum exactly at the moment when Toronto most needs clarity about who it is and who it can still become. The situation in Nashville is deteriorating, and that's no secret to anyone. The Predators started the season inconsistently. Barry Trotz has already made it clear that everything is on the table, and when a GM speaks that openly, you know the temperature has gone up. In the middle of all that chaos, one name naturally emerges as a potential solution for any team that needs leadership, goals, and stability: Stamkos. And for Toronto, that name shines even brighter, because the fit is so obvious it almost feels inevitable. And here's the turning point. The Leafs need exactly someone like Stamkos. It's not an exaggeration. It's not a fantasy. It's not nostalgia. It's need. Pure and simple. Let me paint a picture in detail. The Toronto Maple Leafs have spent months swinging between moments of brilliance and stretches of lost identity that drive any coach crazy. On one shift, the offense looks unstoppable. On the next, the transition game disappears. The forecheck evaporates, and the pace drops as if someone flipped a switch. And when we talk about secondary scoring, the story repeats itself night after night. Matthews carries, Nylander carries. Tavares holds up as much as he can, but the support and production wobbles like a puck bouncing on the edge of the crease. Not to mention the power play, which has lost that lethal aura that always demanded respect. That's exactly where a veteran like Stamkos comes in. A player with a clutch track record, an elite hockey IQ, a one-timer that can still freeze goaltenders, and a locker room presence that commands instant respect. He fills a gap this roster has been trying to fix since the day Marner left. The gap of someone who finishes without hesitation, who guides younger players, and who deeply understand the value of every single shift. And what came next, no one expected, because when you really break it down, you realize Stamkos wouldn't just be a name for marketing or headlines. He would be the stabilizer, the organizer, the kind of player who slides into PP1, strengthens PP2, eases a load on Matthews, lightens Tavares' heaviest minutes, raises the pace of whoever plays next to him, and brings that quiet maturity that turns a talented group into a dangerous one in April. And there's more. Stamkos is someone who has actually won. For real. Someone who has gone through long series, tough stretches, elimination games, tactical adjustments, external pressure. Exactly the kind of experience Toronto is desperately missing. Now let's look at the scenarios. Optimistic. The price drops, Nashville leans fully into a rebuild, and Toronto pushes hard without sacrificing key prospects like Cowan or pieces that shape the organization's future. Cautious. The cost involves high draft picks and young players that Treliving simply cannot afford to give up, especially with a prospect pipeline that's already thinner than ideal. Front office view. Stamkos would be the perfect bridge between the present, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, and the future Cowan/Knies, stabilizing the team's culture while injecting championship-level leadership. Before we go on, hit the like button if you think Stamkos would be the spark this lineup is missing. In the end, Leafs Nation, these two stories, Marner reaffirming old problems and Stamkos emerging as a possible solution, reveal a powerful truth. Toronto is going through an identity reset. Marner's departure opened the door for a team with less noise, more cohesion, and a renewed focus. The chance to add Stamkos represents maturity, leadership, and the winning mentality this roster has been chasing for years. Now I want to hear from you. What should Toronto do? Go all in on Stamkos or look for a different path? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Boys in Blue News, and let's follow every step of this journey together. Go Leafs, go!